Hello, this is Jerry Morton. Welcome to my podcast series, Finding My Way, a memoir by Jerry Morton. This is podcast 79, Prader Willi. Podcast 79, Prader Willi, is a story about the committed efforts of professional service providers working together to create and implement life-changing strategies in assisting someone with Prader Willi syndrome. Podcast 79, Prader Willi. Ring, ring, ring. Hello. Jerry, how are you doing, old buddy? I'm about 10% above average, and you? Well, we got a little problem down here at the center, and I just told the staff you're the one who just might help us solve it. My gosh, it had been more than 3 years since I've seen or talked to my dear friend. The last time we were together was at the memorial service for our mutual friend Dick. From 1974 through 1985, the three of us had been due process hearing officers in special education law for the state of Tennessee. There were always 12 or so hearing officers at any one time. The three of us had collectively done approximately 60% of all of the hearings conducted in the state during that 11-year period. Those were the first 11 years of implementation of Tennessee's special education laws. Many of the school systems had a hard time understanding the law and the newly mandated services they were to provide to their special needs children. This lack of understanding generated considerable backlash aimed at the law and the due process hearing procedures, with the hearing officers being the focus of the resentment towards the law. The three of us, along with the other hearing officers and our courageous Department of Education's coordinator, were proud of the fact that during those 11 years we never had a state or federal court overturn one of our rulings. Those 11 years brought the three of us together with a tight sense of brotherhood. We understood the dedication each of us had for serving others, the care we always took to value those we worked with, and the wisdom each of us had gained from our life experiences. A call for assistance from one of us would be honored. Just where are you calling from, and what kind of a center are you connected with? Jerry, that's a long story. I'll give you the Cliff Note versions. After I retired from the school system about 4 years ago, that was around 2000, I think. No. Anyway, the Tri-County Center in Athens was having a few problems, and they asked me to help out. So now, I'm the director here. Gee, that's a long way from your house. It is, bro, but these are good people. It's worth the drive to be able to help people like this. You know what I mean? Sure do. Anyway, on with the story. The center serves disabled adults in group homes and a sheltered workshop. These adults have limited cognitive and functional abilities. Their parents or guardians can't manage them in their homes because of their intellectual and physical difficulties. So this center has a staff that takes care of these people. Excuse that cough. The staff takes care of these people 24 hours a day. Our funding comes from primarily the state, with additional support from local communities, individual donations, and the like. The adults we serve have a wide range of problems. Each person is unique. That brings me to why I'm calling. We have a very hard-to-manage set of problems with this particular service recipient. We haven't found a way to help him function without endangering himself or others. We've got a crisis about to get worse. We need your thinking on this one. That's not much to go on. Of course I'll help, but what am I about to help you accomplish? Jerry, have you ever heard of Prader Willi syndrome? No. What's that? Well, here's the 15-second interpretation of a 2-day seminar for professionals. This guy we have, JB, has Prader Willi syndrome. His body tells him he is starving to death. I mean to death, all of the time. No matter how much or how often he eats, his body tells him he is starving to death. He attacks people to get their food at mealtime. He has sent staff to the emergency room while trying to rip the food storage cabinet off of the wall. I could go on, but believe me, we have tried everything to control his aggression and getting food without being terribly successful. Of course, he is grossly overweight. He puts his health at risk with his out-of-control eating. We have to restrict his diet, or he'll die. Oh, good buddy, this is serious. Yes, well, he's in the hospital right now. He'll be coming home, back to the group home before long. We've got to develop a better strategy for the staff to use in helping him. We want you to help us do that. I'll be glad to meet with him. Are you sure you think I can help? Remember, I work on problems children are having, not adults. I don't think I'll be able to come up with anything for an adult like that. I just haven't worked with those kinds of issues. That's why you're perfect for this. Your thoughts will once again be out of the box. Besides, you're always working with teachers to help them solve the unsolvable with those behavioral disorder kids. Okay, I'll meet with your staff. There are no guarantees. There never are in our line of work. You got that right. Anyway, what's this immediate crisis you referenced, and why is this guy in the hospital? I assume you're sitting down for this. Go on. Well, a couple of weeks ago, JB kind of wakes up this one morning, swings his leg over the edge of the bed, and quickly lands on his feet. His weight is so heavy that the impact of it breaks both ankles. We rush him to the hospital. They put both feet in casts. I told the nurses and doctors that no one is to have food in his presence where he can see it. He'll go after it. There's always someone who doesn't get the word, or doesn't believe the word, or just forgets the word. So one day, this nurse walks by his room's open door eating a candy bar on the way to the nurse's station. This guy throws himself out of bed, crawls down the hallway to the nurse's station, and tackles the nurse. She is in a panic, as is everyone else, as he crawls up her fallen body, snatches that candy bar, and starts eating it. This can't be true. It sounds like a John Belushi skit from Saturday Night Live. I wish it were. The hospital is eager to release him, as you can imagine. He'll be back at the center soon. We need to find a better way to help him. I'll do what I can. My time is limited. I'll make some adjustments in my schedule to see how much time I can work with you on this. When can we all meet, you, the staff, and I? I'll set it up and give you a call. After I'm introduced to the staff serving JB, the man with Prader Willi, I confess that my specialty area is in school psychology. I've worked with children during my career, not adults. Therefore, they are the experts on JB. I can ask questions about his behavior and make suggestions to help them with JB, but they will have to decide what is worth trying and what isn't. I was most sympathetic to what they have had to endure in trying to manage his behavior. He has 3 meals a day. The calorie count of those meals is carefully controlled. His food is kept in locked spaces, including a locked cabinet. Yes, he has ripped that cabinet off the wall trying to break it open. He is desperate for food almost all of the time. Once he starts going after food that he sees, he can't be stopped. If he walks by someone in the group home eating something, he will rip the food out of their hands or off of their plate and shove it in his mouth. He has hurt staff and other people living in the group home by taking their food or rushing to get food when someone is in his way. He has sent people to the hospital. A time or two, the police had to be called to help calm him down. The stories just seem to go on and on. There is always a staff person with JB. Often 2 or 3 staff members were with him. This was often around mealtime and during various displays of crisis behaviors. It was all they could do to keep him from doing really bad things to people who were around food. As each story was told, I expressed my concern for the staff and praised them for their continual efforts to help JB. None of the staff had expressed anger at the man. They were clearly frustrated that no matter what they tried to do, it didn't improve his behavior. Scratching my head, I said, "Life must be miserable for JB. He's constantly feeling as if he's starving to death, and he can't get to any food except for those 3 meals at their scheduled times, day after day. Tell me, how would you feel if you had Prader Willi syndrome?" "I'd be miserable all the time," came a quick reply from a night care worker. Another said, "I think I'd hate the staff for keeping me from eating. JB's not like that. At times, he can be nice." "Well, all my thinking time would be spent on how to get food, how to smuggle it, steal it, store it. You just know, food, food, food." As they painted their word pictures as to how they would behave if they had JB's condition, the group began expressing more and more compassion for JB and his feelings. I asked, "Is there any way JB can get something to eat other than what you serve him during the 3 designated meals of the day?" "No." "So he has no control over getting food. He is totally under your control." "That's right," came the reply with a bit of sadness I thought I heard in the voice. "Why can't we give him some control over his life on this? You'd want that." There was a general nodding of heads as words of agreement came forth. "Okay, let's try to figure out a way that he can get more control of his life. Let's see if he can earn the right to get snacks throughout the day while not increasing his weight." That'd be great, but how would we do that?" came the group response. "Now, I can help with that. We can set up a positive reinforcement system in which he earns credits, points, coupons, or something like that, something that he can cash in for snacks. We could set it up in such a way that he needed lots more points for high-calorie foods than for low-calorie items. You could give him bonus points for asking for a diet soda instead of a regular one and stuff like that. Immediately, the staff responded with comments such as, "We can do it. Yes, we can work it out. I like it. Let's get going." I cautioned them about problems they might encounter. For example, if they made it too hard for JB to earn points, he would never have enough to purchase anything. It was important that he should start earning points as soon as they decided to start implementing the program. For example, if he hesitated to grab food off of someone's plate, the staff person would give him a point or coupon for that hesitation. They could work up to giving him a coupon only when he just walked by that person eating his food. The one thing they could not do was to take away coupons for bad behavior. The consequence for bad behavior was not earning coupons. If you tried to take coupons or points away from him, there would be major conflicts. No one wanted to get into a big-time conflict with JB. They all agreed with me on that point. They would need to keep track of the task he accomplished to earn his points. Some ways would work better than others. They needed to record the exact way he could earn the points to make sure that his behavior was improving. If the behavior didn't improve, then they needed to adjust the requirements for earning the points. Things would be happening so fast that they would never know if he improved, or if he did, why the improvements took place. It was important to record how receiving the points was tied into behavioral changes and to charting his progress. It was also important to note how he was cashing in his coupons. His case manager said that she knew how to make graphs and charts on her computer. If the other staff members would record why and how often JB was given points and what behaviors were observed that reflected improvements and how he interacted with others around food, the case manager could enter that information in her computer. Then we would all know what was or wasn't working. The rest of the staff agreed to this strategy. I was to meet with all those good people the following week to review their plans for JB. We would review the ways he could earn points, how he could cash in his points, and what behaviors they were monitoring for signs of improvement. Then they would implement this strategy so that a week later we could review the results. I would continue to meet with them on a weekly basis until everyone felt comfortable with the process, or we decided to stop it. After the first week of implementation, the staff was reporting that JB had stopped grabbing food off of people's plates as he walked by. We were all surprised to see such dramatic improvements in that short period of time. For the next few weeks, JB continued to make nice improvements in his behavior around food. The staff began reporting that he would often thank them for providing him with the points. He was constantly saying pleasant things to the staff. They all noted how often he said please and thank you. Spontaneous comments were often made in our weekly meetings concerning how pleasant he was to be around. JB constantly chose to cash his coupons in for salads with low-fat dressing and other low-calorie treats. His weight has started to come down a little. By 6 weeks into the program, he was receiving points for taking exercise walks. The collected data supported all of the improvements the staff was reporting. As JB continued to improve, the way he earned points was constantly being adjusted. The staff made those adjustments after gaining JB's approval. I began meeting with the staff once every 2 weeks, primarily to review the graph of JB's continued progress and to shower the staff with well-earned praise for the remarkable transformation their efforts produced. My meetings with the staff went from once every 2 weeks to once a month, and then there was no need for me to meet with them at all concerning JB. About 2 months after the start of the program, and well into the dramatic improvements that JB had achieved, the staff reported that a crisis at the center happened concerning him. The Tennessee state nurse assigned to monitor JB and the staff's handling of him came to the center. The staff said that she had just gotten back from a national conference on Prader Willi syndrome patients. She reported that all the experts agreed that Prader Willi patients could not control their behavior towards food. These patients would attack anyone at any time just to get their food. There was nothing the patients wouldn't do to get access to food. They were at risk to others and themselves. JB had to be put in handcuffs and leg irons immediately. It was the only safe thing that could be done for all concerned. The staff reported that they argued that JB was now a changed person. He could and did control himself around food. All the nurse needed to do was to go and observe JB. The staff said that to their amazement, the nurse refused to do that, insisting that the research was clear. It took a lot of arguing, but the staff got her to look at their records concerning how he earned points, used them to purchase low-fat treats, made major behavioral improvements towards others, was losing weight, and had begun exercising. After viewing those records, the nurse agreed to observe JB. She finally conceded that he did not need to be in handcuffs and leg irons. As time progressed, the staff reported other improvements in JB. As a diabetic patient, he learned to take his own blood test and administer the insulin shots he required. From time to time over the years, there were a few regressions in some of his positive behaviors. The regressions could be traced to new staff members making errors in the administration of the positive reward system. Those errors were quickly corrected, and JB became his old, polite, and enjoyable self. That is not to say that JB was free of other behavioral issues regarding the many physical conditions from which he suffered. With the same professional care and concern that have been the hallmark of the center's staff over the years, those issues were successfully managed. To the best of the staff's knowledge, JB lived longer than any other person with Prader Willi syndrome. His death was a sadness for all who knew him. His life continues to be a tribute to all the caring people who had the opportunity to serve him and enjoy his company.